Hello everyone and welcome back to another vlog with Mrs. Kelly. I'm back everyone with a new vlog after a year off from making videos because as you know the COVID pandemic hit our world hard, and so I was taking time off to adapt to all the various changes in my social life, my personal life, my work life. And in terms of work life, I would say that despite all the changes in rules and regulations and the upheavals and all the interruptions, we managed to encourage our kids to love learning and to find learning and math and grow in every possible way. They came out as resilient, brave warriors, and we managed to enjoy a lot of books over the lockdown at home and even in school in the classroom. And that helped us bring out a lot of love for learning and literacy and math. And I would like to share today with you some of our favorite math books that our students and we as teachers have loved this term and that we have read to our students. And we have found that these books have provoked them to learn about maths and to find maths in things in their daily life and around them wherever they are, be it at home or be it in school or be it on the playground. And so I thought that these books would make a great addition to any school or home library if you are a parent that loves books or a teacher that loves books. So here's a book called Math Beyond Bed or Math Before Bed. This is one of our favorite books because it's a very nice abstract book and it helped us learn a lot about the different solutions one can come up with, because these are open-ended pictures in this book and they have many different perspectives towards how you can come up with a solution. And that's what's really nice because it encourages a very healthy math discussion in the classroom. So for example, here's a leaf, and the leaf picture has a question that says which leaves are most alike. So it encourages children to find out which leaves look similar, which leaves look different. You can even tell a kid how many leaves can you count there. If it's an older kid, you can even get them to count the veins on the leaves. And so this book is a very abstract math book, but it has a lot of interesting math provocations, and you can make high ceiling and low ceiling tasks based on the images in the book. And hence it would make a great addition to any home library or school library. I highly recommend this book. The other thing I'd like to also mention is that the customer service for this book is really great. So I received this book with a broken spine and I wrote to them about my problem, and they replied at once agreeing to refund me fully for the book, even though this probably broke during delivery to me in transit. I highly recommend this book and it's a great book for any library. Next up, I have a book called How Many. This is a book called Christopher Danielson, and Christopher Danielson has done a great job of this book. And this book is a book that has pictures of mathematical things or arrangements in our universe or in our daily lives. As you can see, there's a frying pan of eggs and some eggs on the counter, and it says how many. And so you can have so many different math questions that arise from it, like how many egg yolks do you see, or how many egg whites do you see, how many uncracked eggs are there, or how many whole eggs are there. There are so many things that you can do with this picture. And what I love about it is the connection to daily lives, because as educators, we're always being told that when we teach children, we should make that connection with things in their daily lives. And that's just what this book does, and hence I love it so very much. Next up, we have another book by Christopher Danielson. It says, Which One Doesn't Belong? This book is a lovely book on shapes and lines, and it reinforces mathematical concepts on shapes. As you know, in kindergarten, we love learning about 2D shapes and 3D shapes, and it also helps children recognize the characteristics of shapes. Like when we are in kindergarten and we learn about shapes, we learn about shapes having 4 corners or 3 corners or a longer side or a shorter side, and that's how we help kids to recognize shapes by their characteristics. And this book helps them look at shapes in different perspectives. Like for example, you have a page here with 4 shapes, and you can ask a kid which one doesn't belong, or your students which one doesn't belong, and they will come up with different solutions as to why whichever shape they feel in that picture doesn't belong. And that is beautiful, because there you have it. You've created a beautiful, healthy math discussion with your students. And that's why I love this book by Christopher Danielson. I highly recommend it for any library that wants to have this as a mathematical read in their library. You can also use these books even when you're doing online learning, especially both these and even this one, because if you can scan the pages and make a slideshow, then you could even use these as math prompts during your small group time or morning opening circle in class online. So that's why I think these 3 books I highly recommend it, because they're so versatile and you can use them in different ways. The other thing that I also do with my students to incorporate math learning and a love for nature at the same time is this math number line that I designed myself. And it's a wonderful number line because it encourages children to collect objects in nature and group them according to number and create a number line based on all natural objects. Sometimes I even gather a group of pine cones and we count them and sort them and do all kinds of things with them. And that's what I love most about nature math, is that you can do so many things with all the natural elements that you find. I'm also looking forward to making kids use pine cones to measure each other, because I think that would be an awesome nature measurement activity with my students. The other thing that I also do with my students to incorporate math learning and a love for nature at the same time is this math number line that I designed myself. And it's a wonderful number line because it encourages children to collect objects in nature and group them according to number and create a number line based on all natural objects. Sometimes I even gather a group of pine cones and we count them and sort them and do all kinds of things with them. And that's what I love most about nature math, is that you can do so many things with all the natural elements that you find. I'm also looking forward to making kids use pine cones to measure each other, because I think that would be an awesome nature measurement activity with my students. So next up is this series. It's called A Winter Math Walk. I have the whole series here. They have an autumn math walk, they have a spring math walk, a summer math walk, and a playground math walk, and a beach math walk. And I love these series of books because they inculcate a love for math through nature. And our students have been loving reading these books because they find the pictures of nature so beautiful and cute, especially the animal ones. Baby animals are always cute when you see them in pictures. And it's also helped them to develop an interest in math through nature. So these books really connect children to things in their environment, I would say. And that's really important, because a child needs to know what's in their environment and to take care of things in their environment and learn from their environment, because as educators we talk about the environment being the third teacher. And so it's very important that we create that environment for them, or we help them learn through their environment by showing them the different ways that they can learn in their environment. So this is the book that I'm going to read to my kids this week, because we are headed into spring here in Canada. And so I thought this would be a great book to read to my students and to provoke them to find things in nature now that the seasons are changing from winter to spring. And most of us are in this part of the world are really happy about that change. And we're looking forward to more sunnier days. So that's why I would love to read this book to my kids. This series is written by a Canadian author, and her name is Deanna Mclennan. I love Deanna Mclennan's books, and she writes some really great books on nature math and maths in the classroom. And 2 of my favorite books are Kindercoding Unplugged, which gives you a lot of unplugged kindercoding ideas. And she also has another book about bringing maths into the classroom, which I also love because it helps you to inculcate maths in your classroom in every possible learning center. And I thought that was wonderful, because kids need to learn maths from different perspectives and different angles. And if we expose them to maths in different learning centers and from different perspectives and in different ways and methods of learning, I'm sure they would love maths and be more involved in it. And it would also help them to learn that maths is a subject that has many perspectives, and it can be seen from many different ways. It can be solved in many different ways. There are many different solutions that we can come up with. If we brainstorm with a friend, there are going to be many different solutions that both of us come up together with. So sometimes it's also great to do group activities where you have 2 kids together trying to do things based off of books like these. So that kind of helps kids realize that there are so many different perspectives to maths. The other series of books that I've been loving, or the book that I've been loving, is Kindness to Coding. And I thought, what better combination than kindness and coding? Because in kindergarten, we're focusing both on kindness, and we're trying to introduce a little bit of coding, because my Ontario friends will know that coding has become an integral part of our grade 1 and up syllabus or curriculum in Ontario. And so as kindergarten teachers, we do try to encourage and inculcate a little bit of coding in our children. Coding in the early years is pretty elementary, and you can do a lot of unplugged activities, and this book is one such book that encourages an unplugged activity based off of this story about three friends trying to learn how to be kind. And I thought this was great, and they have a lot of pictures which show you what a coding chart looks like, and there are some arrows, and they also have like some additional resources in the book. Like for example, they give you a whole sheet of arrows which you can probably photocopy and print out. They also give you all these different charts that you can maybe Xerox or photocopy and use it in your classroom. And I think this is amazing. I hope to be able to do some more coding with my kids, because as you all know, the COVID pandemic has changed our lives and our capacity to do things in the classroom, because there are so many restrictions in terms of fabrics and material and paper and things like that. So a lot of the scope for doing coding in the classroom has been reduced, because much of our unplugged coding that happens in the classroom happens on paper and cardboard and a lot of recycled materials that we find in and around our classrooms. So I'm hoping that someone comes up with some fun ideas that we can do, keeping in mind all our COVID restrictions, because that would be awesome. And so on the whole, as an educator that reinforces maths and likes to inculcate a love of math and learning in her students, I would like to say that it's important to develop a little library of math books, because in the last school year I realized that we read so many books on social, emotional, and personal hygiene related morals and issues, but we never read books on maths to our kids. And it would be wonderful if we could read books like this, or even the Christopher Danielson books like this, or even books like this, so that we can encourage our kids to love maths in a calm and relaxed manner. Because most of the time, I know my counterparts in US and my peers in Canada, most of the time we prepare our kids for maths to undertake a lot of testing in our respective school districts and areas. But sometimes it's important to just allow a kid to sit down and explore maths at their own pace, because that's important for them. They need to learn that math can be solved at your own pace. You do not need to rush through your reasoning or your solutions or your perspectives. You can take as much time as you need to come up with those solutions. And in the end, neither answer is right or wrong. What matters is that you tried, and that you thought about it, and you brainstormed with your friend about it, or you shared your ideas with your class about it. And that's what helps build a student's self-esteem in terms of maths. Because another aspect of our Ontario curriculum is the social emotional aspect of math learning. And I feel helping a kid to feel comfortable about looking into maths and finding solutions and brainstorming ideas with their peers over any kind of math problem that you share with your class is important to boosting and building self-esteem and self-confidence in math. So you can follow me on Instagram if you would like. My handle is Big Ideas for Little Minds 19 on Instagram, and it's Big Ideas for Little Minds again on YouTube. So thank you all for watching. Like, share, and subscribe, and thank you all for following me. It's been such a pleasure making videos for you guys. Keep in touch and stay safe in this pandemic. Lots of love and kisses to you guys.